What is going on, my salty little home gymmers? Welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to be reviewing the EVOLPOW P3A home gym power rack. This is essentially a budget home gym cable rack. We have a lot to compare this to these days. And of course, as always, we're gonna start with the assembly. Firstly, shipping, not bad. It came here in about a week, came in some decent packaging. When I took the parts out of the box, there weren't a lot of scratches, weren't a lot of nicks, and that is a huge, huge plus because that happens to a lot of these racks. And there's something I'm gonna attribute that to, which will come later in this video. But assembly itself was pretty easy. Most parts came together pretty easy. Most of the bolt heads were the same size, which makes things also very easy. The thing that I did notice, and I really don't like to start off these videos negatively, but this is a pretty small thing that has to do with the assembly, so we won't harp on it too much. Some of the bolts are just like a hair too short. I did manage to get all of them together, but a lot of them just make it really, really difficult. I double checked all my sizes, so make sure you do that. But some of these bolts just plain and simple need to be longer. Another thing about the hardware on this rack, so with this rack, the posts on an R2x3, which again, we'll get into later, but some of the spacers for the pulleys seem to be meant for a 2x2 rack. I did reach out to EVOLPOW and they sent me new ones that were here in under 3 days, which is awesome. And they assured me they've corrected this problem. And after installing the new spacers, it did work properly, but we'll get into the cable system and everything later. So now that I've officially started this video with something negative, let me talk about the rest of this machine, because this machine has a ton of positives for its price. So the next thing we're gonna get into, and we're gonna make it fast, is the height of this rack is 83.7 inches. And if that is too tall for your ceilings, well then just look what I got. Nothing. Actually, if you just take this pull-up bar and flip it upside down, your height with that pull-up bar flipped upside down is about 80 inches. My measurements, that is an option for you if it's too tall. The width is 67.7 inches. The depth is 63.4 inches. And these posts come with 1-inch holes. Seem to be spaced a little over 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches. And these posts, these uprights are 2x3. They seem just a little tiny bit shy of 3-inch, but I'm gonna talk more about these posts here very shortly. Now, this comes with a set of J-hooks, dip bars, and safety bars. Your J-hooks, EVOLPOW claims 1,000-pound weight capacity. I would say that's probably not far off with the rack. These J-hooks, although fine for 95% of users, if you're planning on maxing out the capacity of this rack, number one, you're probably not watching this video, and if you are, big thanks, big huge guy. Don't forget to subscribe. And number two, definitely upgrade these J-hooks. There's the 2x3 rack is coming along. They make tons of attachments like this. Your dip bar has a weight capacity of 350 pounds, and your safety bars have a weight capacity of 700 pounds. Now, this is probably the first rack we've had in my gym with these 2x3 uprights, and a lot of these companies that make racks this style are moving towards the 2x3. And if you're wondering why, there's a ton more stability in it comparative to the machines I've used of this style that have 14 gauge steel 2x2 uprights. The 2x3 upright is undoubtedly better. I can see why a lot of these companies are moving towards that, because it seems like every 2x2 14 gauge steel budget rack or power rack or cable rack that I receive is just a wobbly goose. There's just so much more stability with the 2x3. The EVOLPOW brand does offer a 2x2 inch rack that's made of 14 gauge steel, and although I haven't used it, I've used a lot of its competitors, and I just would recommend this one over it. Now, this style rack, the 14 gauge post budget rack with a cable that has one loading point at $650. That might seem like awfully specific criteria, but it's not. There's a ton of brands making these style racks in this specific price range. This rack, number one, you're not gonna find a whole lot of its competitors with 2x3 for this price. And above all, where it really, really shines is its stability. Take it with a grain of salt. all my opinions are subjective. Now moving on to the cable system. It's a nice smooth trolley on there, which is another thing that I think holds back a lot of these budget racks. The function of the cable in general, we're gonna go back to what I was talking about in the assembly. These spacers for some of the pulleys, like I said, when I first received them, they were clearly for a 2x2 inch rack. And it caused way too much play in the pulleys, which caused them to rub. I did reach out to EVOLPOW, like I said. They sent me these parts and they got here like in no time. They were very responsive. And they said they corrected this issue. However, even though these little spacers that they sent me did do great, once they were installed, the machine functioned well. There is still like a weird amount of play. It's like these ones they sent me were almost slightly too wide. But with that being said, this did not affect the function of the machine at all. This is just me nitpicking at this point. This cable functioned perfectly fine after the cable is about what you'd expect from a machine of this style, from this price. It is a pretty smooth cable. I will say the more I use these machines, the more I like these machines with the 2 parallel linear bearings over the ones I see with the square bearings, whether they be rollers or linear, whatever. This style, man, this is tough to explain. Here, let me put it to you like this. This style is better than this style. Stay away from this style. I just think it's just not good. From what I've used, this style is a lot better and it's a lot smoother. And last but not least, it comes with 20 points of adjustment, and your numbers are actually laser cut on the front of this rack, which is just a nice touch, really. To celebrate the color of my rack, I'm wearing my red pants. I really get tired of the painted black look. The coating with the red, I'm just gonna probably go out on a limb here and say the red coating is probably your better coating, because it's not a painted coating, it's actually like a true powder coat that's got some gloss to it. There is some of that painted flat black. You're never gonna get away from it in home gym equipment. And it's not that it looks bad. It seems like it's got a thick coating on it all the way around. Great coating on this rack. And then I'll also talk to you about this nice back plate here. It's also a nice touch. Got that nice steel back plate. They got a nice cool logo on it.
It's like a fighting chicken. That's awesome, I know. With the claws. And the beak.
I'm pretty sure that's a dog. It's a dog, right? And right now, these are customizable on the website, which is also a nice touch. Another awesome part about this plate here is it hides my storage back here for all my attachments and everything. You got your curl bar, your lat pull down, my T-bar, which goes with my landmine here at the front. And on the other side here, I've got my foot plate, which allows me to do those cable rows or lat pull downs. And last but not least, I have my band pegs. There's 4 total, 2 on each side. Also included in this rack is your storage space in the back. If you get the $650 model, which is the sale price, but as I talked about in my last video, every company nowadays presents their things like they're on sale, and those sales are just never ending. This rack is probably gonna be $650 for a very long time. So again, the plate holders in the back, the $650 model comes with 2, 1 on each side, and a bar holder in the back. If you want the upgraded version, it has 3 on each side, okay? And you get that extra upright in the back, which probably, I wanna say, would probably add a little more stability. And the last thing we'll talk about is your pull-up and dip attachments. As far as the dip bars goes, pretty standard stuff. You got an inside grip and an outside grip. There's a 350-pound weight capacity with them. And then your pull-up bar, I like this style pull-up bar more because 1, it feels a lot more stable, and 2, the knurling on this thing is insane. If you got soft hands, you're not gonna like this bar. You could peel so many potatoes with this pull-up bar. In conclusion, would I recommend this rack? Yeah, I would. I think where this rack really stands out against its competitors is its stability. And the fact that EVOLPOW is offering a 2x3 rack for the price of what most of its competitors are offering a 2x2 rack says a lot about what you're getting here. With that being said, I think what holds this rack back the most is its hardware. EVOLPOW, drop me a comment, I'll pin it. Hardware issues are just the least of my worries. You can always just go to the store and buy whatever size bolts you want for whatever machine. The important thing is the machine itself. Thank you so much for joining me. Please go ahead and subscribe. There is a lot of good stuff coming, stuff that I cannot wait to announce. So you're definitely gonna wanna subscribe. And thanks for joining me today.